Good evening. It's November 6th and it's different than other days. I'm streaming in the evening now. That's because Wednesday usually is my day at the office and very late. Let's switch the light a little bit. Much better. Still waiting to install Fish Studio on the development machine. I hope it will be ready by the time that we need it. Let's start the show. Welcome back, and today is a different day because I'm not going to do office development today, but I'm having a first look at Blazor. Blazor. No clue what it is, what you can do with it. Seems you can do some server-side development. Coding C# for the web. Let's see where it goes. Kicking the screen. So I just installed the latest preview for Studio 2019 16.4.0 preview 3. Let's launch it. Maybe we need to find some sort of a tutorial, maybe. Google. Blazor tutorial. Here we have a tutorial from Microsoft. Build your first Blazor app. Okay, October 30. Click. Daniel Roth and Luke Latham. Blazor server is supported in ASP.NET Core 3.0. Blazor WebAssembly is in preview ASP.NET Core 3.1. The question is, do I have 3.1? Let's check. SDK. That sounds great. Okay. I trust that that will be alright. This tutorial shows you how to build and modify a Blazor app. For the guidance in the Get Started with ASP.NET Core Blazor article to create, follow the guidance in the Get Started ASP.NET Core Blazor article to create a Blazor project for this tutorial. Name the project to-do list. Let's try to open this as a new window. Okay. Blazor server is supported ASP.NET Core 3.0. Blazor WebAssembly is in preview for ASP.NET Core 3.1. Install the latest .NET Core 3.0 SDK. I think I already had the newer version, as we just noticed. So I can probably skip this. Optionally install the Blazor WebAssembly template by installing .NET Core 3.1 preview SDK. My guess is that it's... Well, let's just follow this. And then running the following command in the command shell. Is that the latest version? I don't know. From when is this document? October 31. Well, let's just do this. Command. Data. Projects. Make directory Blazor. Stream. Blazor stream. .NET new. First check if this .NET. Yeah. .NET new. No, without a dash. New. Do I need to install these templates? I think I can skip this maybe. Install Visual Studio, ASP.NET Web Development. I think it's in there somewhere. Check. Programs. Visual Studio. Oh. Visual Studio. Installer. Preview. Change. That should give the options. And we needed to install ASP.NET and Web Development. That workload is in here. Oh. And what does it install? .NET Core 2.1 long term. Two point 1.3 runtime. That's already an interesting question. Install Visual Studio with workload. Optionally install Visual Studio 64 preview or later. That's what I did. for Blazor WebAssembly app development. Well, just kick it in and see where it starts. Oh. Create a new project. Blazor app. Next. Provide a project name in the project name. Confirm the location. The project name was in the other document. To-do list. We're going to create a to-do list. Let's do this in a different location. See data. What? See data projects. To-do list. Place solution and project in the same directory. Provide a project name, accept the default project name, confirm the location entry is correct, provide a location and create. Create. Let's see. Create for the Blazor WebAssembly experience, choose Blazor WebAssembly app template. That's not in here. Blazor. And that's in here as well. Is that because we missed this one? Yeah, optionally install the Blazor WebAssembly. How do we know the latest version? Google. Latest version Blazor templates. Three. Only 292 downloads at this time. Is that preview 2? And what's in here? Preview 1. That's this one, so it's already outdated. Copy. This package has Semver 2 package. The package will only be available to download with Semver for Git clients, such as Visual Studio 2017. I already have a higher version. close this and do the other one first. Paste. Install Microsoft ASP.NET Core Blazor template 3.1.0. Let's make this a little bit bigger to read. Usage, display help, blah, blah, dry run, templates, a whole lot of templates. Start Visual Studio all over again. New project. Select Blazor app. Blazor app. Blazor app. Razor class. Blazor app. Next. And what was the other option? To-do list. Copy. See data projects. Let's browse for that. Yeah. Create. Okay, now we have a Blazor WebAssembly. Difference is project template for creating Blazor server app that runs on the server side inside an ASP.NET Core app and handles user interactions over Signal R connection. The template can be used for web apps with rich dynamic user interface. Or the other one, a project template for creating a Blazor app that runs WebAssembly. This template can be used for web apps with a rich dynamic user interface. The difference is that it's not using Signal R, going to the server probably. Where's the other one? This one. Create a new project Blazor app, that's what we did. Provide a project name, that's what we did. Confirm. Provide a project name. For Blazor WebAssembly experience, choose the WebAssembly app template. For a Blazor server experience, choose Blazor server app. Select Create. For information on the two hosting models, Blazor Server WebAssembly, see Hosting Models. Blazor Server is supported in 3.0, WebAssembly in Preview 3.1 Core. Blazor is a web framework designed to run client-side on WebAssembly regardless the hosting model. To create project WebAssembly. The principal hosting model for Blazor is running client-side in the browser on WebAssembly. The Blazor app its dependencies and the net runtime are downloaded to the browser. The app is executed directly on the browser UI. Browser UI thread, the UI updates and events handling occur in the same process. The app's assets are deployed as static files to a web server or server capable of serving static content to clients. To create Blazor app using the client-side hosting model, use the Blazor WebAssembly app. .NET new Blazor wasm. What's up? After selecting Blazor WebAssembly app template, you have the option of configuring the app to use the ASP.NET Core backend by selecting ASP.NET Core hosted checkbox. .NET new Blazor wasm hosted. The ASP.NET Core app serves the Blazor app to the clients. The Blazor WebAssembly can interact with the server over network using API calls or SignalR. The templates include Blazor WebAssembly script that handles downloading the internet, the .NET runtime, the WebAssembly hosting offers several no .NET server side dependency. The app is fully functional after downloaded to the client. Client resources and capabilities are fully leveraged. Work is offloaded from the server to the client, and ASP.NET Core web app web server isn't required to host the app. Serverless deployment scenarios are possible, for instance, serving the app from a CDN. There are downsides to Blazor WebAssembly hosting. The app is restricted to capabilities of the browser. Capable client hardware and software, for example, WebAssembly support is required. Download size is larger and app takes longer to load. .NET runtime and tooling support is less mature. For example, limitations exist in .NET standard support and debugging. Blazor server. With the Blazor server hosting, this was the WebAssembly, yeah. The app is executed on the server from the ASP.NET Core app, blah blah. So this is the one running it in the completely in the browser, and this one is signaling to .NET Exe. To create a Blazor app using the Blazor server hosting model, using ASP.NET Core Blazor server app template, .NET new Blazor server. The .NET Core app hosts the Blazor server, SignalR, server-side services, the app to request handling pipeline, Blazor server JS script, establish this connection. Blazor download the size is significantly smaller than Blazor WebAssembly. .NET Core. Thin clients are supported. Blazor server apps. Comparison to server rendered UI. One way of understanding server apps is to understand how it differs from the traditional model for rendering UI in ASP.NET Core. Apps using Razor views, Razor pages. Both models use Razor language to describe HTML, but they significantly differ in how markup is rendered. When a Razor page is viewed or rendered, every line of Razor code emits HTML, blah blah blah. After rendering, the server disposes of the page or view instance, including any state that was produced. When another request of the page occurs, for instance, the server validation fails and the validation summary is displayed, the entire page is rendered to the HTML again. The page is sent to the client. A Blazor app is composed of reusable components. Yeah, this was Razor. This is Blazor. Blazor app is composed of reusable elements of UI called components. A component contains C# code, markup, and other components. When a component is rendered, Blazor produces a graph of the included components similar to HTML or XML document object model DOM. This graph includes component state, health, in properties and fields, blah, blah, blah. Binary format can be turned into HTML text during pre-rendering, used to efficiently update markup. UI update in Blazor triggered by user interactions, such as selecting a button. App triggers, such as a timer. The graph is rendered and the diff is calculated. Blah, blah, blah. Circuits. Blazor server app is built on top of the core Signal R. Each client communicates to the server over one or more Signal R connections called a circuit. A circuit is a Blazor abstraction over Signal R connections that tolerate temporary network interruption. When a Blazor client sees the Signal R connection is disconnected, it attempts to reconnect the server using a new Signal R connection. Okay, UI latency. Time to from initiated action to the UI, to the time the UI is updated. Smaller values for the UI latency are imperative. Reconnect to the same server. When a client detects that the connection has been lost, the default UI is displayed to the user while the client attempts to reconnect. If connection fails, the user is provided the option to retry. Okay, stateful reconnection after pre-rendering. Weather forecast service. Render stateful interactive. Await. Code. Okay. So for now, as the Blazor server app is not in preview, let's select this one. Choose the Blazor server app. Select create. For information to Blazor, this was what we did. Create. Do we enable Docker support? Requires Docker desktop. I didn't install the Docker yet. Create. So it creates the application. What do we see over here? Pages. Counter, error, fetch, data, razor, and a host. Shared. Main layout. Nav menu. App razor. Wow, this is a big arrow. Oh, it's slowly resolving. Press F5 to run the app. How easy can it be? I pressed F5, but I don't think. Maybe I should select this one, press F5. Function key is on. Oh, build succeeded. It's doing something. Yes. you have it. My first Blazor app. Let's see what you can see in the communication over here. Network. What's new? Multi-client support? Lighthouse? I don't care. Normalizing Blazor. Okay. Source. Ah, okay. Can I lower this a little bit? No way to get this smaller, this window. Console. Okay, let's continue with the instructions. Multiple pages are available in the sidebar. Home, counter, fetch data. Let's close this one. Home, counter, fetch data. This is the demo that they also used for, I think, the .NET Conf. On the counter page, select Click Me button to increment the counter without page refresh. Click, 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 click. Yeah. Can we see that if we do this in the developer tools? Network. There's no network going on. Let's see. On the counter page, click me the page refresh. Incrementing the counter web page requires writing JavaScript, but Blazor you can do C#. Have a look at the page. Where's my Solution Explorer? What were we looking at? The counter razor? There it is. Page counter, current count, button primary. I think is it using Bootstrap? On click, increment count, click me, code, current count, increment count. So if you refresh this page, it's probably back to 0. Yes. Okay. A request for counter in the browser, a specified web page directive on the top causes the counter component to render its component. Its content. This one. Components render into an in-memory representation of the render tree that can be used to update the UI in a flexible and efficient way. Each time you click the button, the on-click is, that's this one. On-click event is fired, the increment count method is called. current count. Component is rendered again. Yeah. The runtime compares the new content to the previous content and only applies to the changed content to the document object model, or add a component or another component using this HTML syntax. For example, add the counter component to the app's homepage by adding counter element to the index component. That's like the index component. There we have page, hello world, welcome to the new app, and now we are going to include counter. Luckily it has some intelligence. Save. Do we need to refresh this? Reload. Let's see. Run the app. Yeah. No live update. Don't think so. No. A 5. Now the counter is also on the home page. Click me. Yeah, each time the counter, the component is rendered, it's re-rendered to 0. The homepage has its own counter provided. The component parameters are specified using attributes or child content, which allow you to set the properties of the child component to add a parameter to the counter component, update the code block, add a public property for increment count with a parameter, counter razor. Counter razor. Something like this. What did we need to do? Add a public property. Counter. Where's the public property? Increment. For increment amount with parameter attribute. Yes, that's something like the attribute parameter. Public int increment amount get. What if I do just like a prop? Yeah, public increment amount equals to 1, and let's do something with it. Right, it's already in here. increment count, current count plus equals to increment. Increment amount, yeah. Specify the increment amount in the index component using the attribute. Ah, okay. Like counter. See, it recognizes the property. Set it to 10. Run the app. The index component has its own counter that the count component continues to increment by 1. Run it. Run it, baby. Come on, there you are, you can do it. Oh, and why is it not set to 10? That's interesting. Oh, it's the increment amount. Oh, sure. I was misreading this completely. Because the other one, the increment amount, is set to 1. Counter. Yeah. So what did we see just here? We provided a parameter, and in the case of the home page we said it was set to 10. By default it's set to 1. Click me 10, counter set to 1, 10, right. Run the app, and the index component has its own counter that increments by 10 each time the click me button is selected. The counter component counter raiser at counter continues to increment by 1. Next step, build your first Blazor app. I thought we already did build our Blazor app. Okay. Build your first Blazor app. This tutorial shows how to build and modify a Blazor app. Build components. This is what we already did. To-do list. Well, quickly run it again. Have a look at it one more time. Fetch data about. Yeah, that's just a link to a website. docs.com, asp.net. Free courses. Blazor. Free Blazor training course. This short course from DevExpress provides an interactive Blazor framework. Yeah, okay, maybe later. Can we search for this? Blazor. Enter Blazor, but it's ASP.NET. I think this is a useless filter box. Okay, this is what you did. Browse to each of the app's 3 pages folder: home, counter, fetch data. These pages implement the Razor component: index Razor, counter Razor, Solution Explorer. Home, counter, fetch data. Home with no home. 3 pages in the pages folder. Home, counter and fetch data. This is home. No. Error, fetch data, page. Router app assembly, type program assembly. Sorry, there's nothing to at this address. Really? Crickets. On the counter page, select click me to increment the counter. That's what we already did. Increment the counter web normally requires writing JavaScript. Now we have C# instead. Yeah. Examine the implementation of counter. We just changed this, edited this to have a parameter in there. Like this. The UI of the counter component is defined using HTML. That's the upper part. Dynamic rendering logic, for example, loops, conditionals, expressions, is added using embedded C#. Syntax called Razor, the HTML markup and C# rendering logic are converted into component classes build time. The name of the generated .NET class matches the file name. Oh, okay. Members of the component class are defined in the code block. In the code block, the component state, properties, fields and methods are specified for the event handling. That's this part. For event handling or for defining other component logic. These members are then used as part of the component rendering logic and handling events. When the click me button select the counter is, we have seen this in the other one. Modify component increment by 2. Yeah, we change this to. Could do this by changing this one to 2. Let's match this. F5. Rebuild and run the app and click me. Now renders by 2. I code, therefore I am. Yeah, so you click on this one. Cool. Rebuild, use components. Include a component in other components. That's what we did already. That's what this one. Rebuild and run. Don't do that because we already did that. Component parameters. That's what we did as well. Specify the increment amount. Element, yeah, that's what we did. Reload the index components, route to components. The page redirective. The page directive at the top of counter specifies that the counter component is a routing endpoint. The counter component handles requests to send to counter. Without a page directive, a component doesn't handle routed requests, but the component can still be used by other components. Dependency injection. If working with Blazor server app, the weather forecast is registered in singleton in startup configure services. That's something in startup, maybe? Configure services, there you have it. Weather forecast service. This method gets called by the runtime. Use this method to add services container for information on how to configure your application. Visit Microsoft.com, blah blah blah. This method gets called at runtime. Is development. Use developer exception page. So, singleton is yeah, we've seen that. That's this one. The inject directive is used to inject this instance of the forecast service. With the forecast service in the fetch data component. Where is the fetch data? Fetch data inject weather forecast service using to-do list data. Loading. Data temperature Celsius Fahrenheit. The inject directive is used to inject the instance of the weather forecast service of fetch data. That's in, like in here. The fetch data component uses the injected service as forecast service, that's this one, to retrieve an array of forecast objects. It's done in the code, so I think. Protected override async on initialized async forecast await forecast service gets forecast async datetime now. Blazor WebAssembly experience. If working with WebAssembly app, HTTP client is injected. We can build the other one as well. Let's save this and file close project, close solution. Create a new project. Blazor. Next. To-do list. To-do list wasm. Create. WebAssembly app. Enable. Authentication is not to be enabled in here. ASP.NET Core hosted. Well, let's leave it. Create. Now let's run this. So this time we get a client-side component. Blazor client. We're building a Blazor wasm component. Welcome. How's Blazor working for you? Brief survey. I've been using it just a couple of minutes only. Come on. Let's quickly look at the network. What's going on if I do network? Reload. Loading. Oh, wow. That's the runtime. This is to-do list. It's a DLL. Wow. Okay. Let's continue with the text. WebAssembly experience. If you're working with a WebAssembly app, HTTP client is injected to obtain the weather forecast data from weather.json. In the www.root sample data. Also, it's not actually not collected really. Solution Explorer. www.root sample data weather.json. So is this faking on us? Fetch data. Freezing, bracing, freezing, balmy, chilly. Chilly. Warm. Wow. So it's actually not going out to the weather forecast as we've seen with the server-side item. Let's see why this is it not supported to get the weather forecast? Working on Blazor WebAssembly HTTP client is injected to obtain the weather forecasts from www.root sample data folder. Override async. This is the fetch data. Let's check that out. Solution Explorer fetch data pages. There you have it. So if I compare this to the other one, let's compare it with the server side. That's the other one. First look at Blazor. Up to now, it's kind of interesting. Fetch data. This actually injects the weather forecast service from the startup. This one. Oh. Did I just click it away? What? It terminated. It crashed on me. It is a preview, obviously. Don't do that again. It's not supposed to crash on me. Oh my god. They're laughing at me. stop it. I was opening. Yeah. Fetch data, and I was going to look at the startup. Don't do it again. The weather forecast service. Yeah, this one. Oh, what? Yeah, this is the summaries. And where does it collect the information from then? From results. I have no clue where it's getting this from. Is it not fake? Forecast service. Go to definition. Range, new random range. Creates a new weather forecast. Let's run this, put it in an array. This time it's not collected as the from the JSON. So is the output different then? Fetch data. It's different. Where's the other one? This. Yeah, so it's completely different. So this is not from the JSON. Okay, close this up. Get back to the. This is the server. Close the server. And go back to the information. For each loop is this is the still the fetch data. Yeah. It's looping over this one. For each loop is used to each render a forecast instance as a row in the table. Forecast for all the items in forecasts. It extracts the date into a short date. Long. Let's try this, see how this is reflecting. This is really some different things than office development. Sunday, May 6, 2018. Sunday, May 6, 2018. Let's make this short again. Sunday, May. Try to remember what it was. I really have a bad memory. Want to bet? What's the output? Sunday, May 6, 2019? Yeah, the Sunday is missing now. Obviously. Build a to-do list. Add an empty file named to-do razor. Let's pin this first. Come on, resize. Why isn't it resizing? Come on. Shit. It's not doing what I want. The resizer is gone. Wow, no, no! Why can't I resize this? There's an error in here. Let's create a new new item. Is there no page option? New item. Razor page or razor component. What does it say? Add an empty file. Page is private. It's called a component. Razor component. Okay. Does it look like the same thing? To do. No, it's a page, a redirective page. To do, and it should say to do. To do, and make that an H1. Oh, that's nice. Add the to do component to the navigation bar. Nav menu. Where was it shared? I think this one, yeah. Let's copy. Where do we need to put this? The nav menu component. Blah blah blah. Adds a navlink element to do below the existing list items. So just put it in here. Does it resemble the other ones? Yeah. To do. Yeah. Okay. Rebuild and run the app. Visit the to-do page to confirm the link to the to-do component works. Okay, sure. I did press F5, but oh, wait, it was already running. I need to reload it, I think. Why is there not? Well, the page redirective expects a string surrounded by double quotes. Okay. Where is it? Component? Why is it named component? I should call this rename to do dodo. And apparently this should be something within quotes. Ah, okay, yes. Learned a new thing today. Let's run it now. Still an error. Component to do starts with a lowercase. Component names cannot start with lowercase characters. Wow. To do. Fetch date. Oh, this is also lowercase. what was going wrong? The nav thingy in here. To do. Component to do starts with a lowercase character. Component names cannot start with a lowercase character. So why is it doing it this time with a lowercase character then? Oh. Interesting. Did he use it? Let's see. To do. To do. My resizers don't work. Terrible. So why is it complaining? Let's check if what's the demo code in here. Oh wait, this is the issue. Really? This should be renamed to uppercase. To do like this. Build. Really, that's the thing, I think. So the page itself is not allowed to be named with a lower caps. Wow. So if I rename this to fetch data with a lower, yeah, wow. So it's case sensitive for some reason. And the protocol is to have this as an uppercase F. Let's build it again. Run it. Now I should have a to-do page on this. To do. Yes, there we have to do. Still quite disappointed that it's not hot loading, because if I change this in the code to do and make this to do, is it updated? No, it's not. My guess is because it's compiling on the server side, you have to build it again. But let's continue with the example. Add a to-do component. I did that. Rebuild it. That's what you did. To add to-do items CS file to the root of the project. Add a to-do items CS C# file to the root of the project to hold a class that represents the to-do items. Yeah, use the following C# code for the to-do item class. And that's the root. The root of the project. This is the project. Add new item. What was it called again? To do item. To do item. Yes. Namespace to-do list was up. Public class to-do item, that's correct. So we only need this part. Copy. Or just prop. No. Yeah. String. What's the name? Title. Oh. Prop. Bool is done. Bool is done. Yeah. I always prefer to do the typing myself instead of copying, because you learn more by doing. Just typing it in. The more sensors you use doing things, then you learn more. Return to the to-do component. To-do component. This one. Page to do. Let's return that back to one word and put in a list. Add for each. Let's see if it's tab. Yes, it's doing it. For to do in to do's. No. To do's. Enter. List item. Add to do. Title. Title. Just correct me if I make a typo somewhere. Yeah, then the code private. I list of to do item. No, to do item. To do's is new. List is new. Tab. No, it's not doing it. List. To do item. Why is it not exposed? Why is it not resolving the to-do item? Type to could not be found. What if I build it? Build failed. Yes, that's what I noticed as well, but why is this not working? Because I got a public added to-do item class to the root of the project. It's in the project, isn't it? To-do item in here. It's in the same namespace. I think to-do list wasm. Oh, why is it back to lower caps then? Why? I thought I changed this. And should there be a namespace around this somewhere? Must have missed something over here. Oh, it's now recognized. Wow, okay. Let's see, iList to do item, and this is the typo. That's it. Wow. Okay. Why was it so late of recognizing to do item? App requires UI element for adding to do items to the list. Add a text input and a button. And on what file do we do this? The to do, I suppose. After the list, input, placeholder, something to do, and the button, add to do, Todo, Todo, the monkey of Tarzan. Rebuild and run the app. When the add to do button is selected, nothing happens because their event handler's wire is not wired up yet. Fairly clear. Oh, build errors. No. Wow. Really? Did it change it back again? Come on. Sucker. I think you were all witness of this, weren't you? How many times did I change that back? Build. There's a bug in the system, I think. Reverting the name back to the lowercase file. Still right. F5. Keep an eye on the to-do item in my solution, because you saw me change it to the uppercase. Sometimes it turns back into a lowercase component name, and that's failing. To do, something to do, test, and nothing happens because, as we said, it's missing the handler. Right, we need to put a handler in. Now I'm curious to see if I kill this one again, if it's reverting back to the lowercase. Still going strong. What if we do add to do's? Save this. There you have it. Did you see it? Come on, guys. There's a bug in here. I renamed this to do. Uppercase, but then you notice loading is uppercase. Now I'm going to change this again. Save it. Ta-da! Lowercase, and now I get the error again. Wow. How crazy is this? Clip it, guys. Well, change it back again. Let's check the file location. Where's the file location? View in browser. No. I want to see the file in Explorer view. No. Where's the view and file location? Come on. Properties. like this. Copy. So what if I change it back over here? Close this. Solution Explorer. To do. And I change it. Save it. Now it's fixed. Did you notice that? Save it again. Yeah, this is fixed. Apparently, because I initially created this with a lowercase character, it's somehow remembering this. And reverting it back. Wow, that's a bug. I make a note of this and maybe file a bug with the Fish Studio team. Create lower caps component. Rename to uppercase. Edit content. Reverts back to lowercase. Okay, I made a little note of this, and if I get to do this, I should put an item on the to-do list to bug this issue where the file is renamed to lowercase. That's a bug in Fish Studio Preview 3? Is it Preview 3? Yeah, 16.4.0. Did I already run this? Don't think so. Already did run it. Cheers, guys. Hydrate. To do. Test. Yeah, that was we needed to add the handler. Quite short on memory. Let's kill this explorer here. Nothing happens because the event handler isn't wired up to the button. Add an add to do method to the to do component. To do component, that's this one. Let's add handler to the button. On click equals to, oh, it's already put in the quotes. Add to do. Add to do is still the same. Then put in the method. Private, or maybe can I do this? Control dot? No. Okay. Private void add to do. To get the title of the to-do item, add new to-do string field to the top of the code block. String, no, should say private prop private string new to do. Something like this. And input placeholder, something to do. There's this one. Bind it to bind equals to new to do. No do. To do. Okay. Private string. Where's the private string then? This one. I already did that. But I clicked it. We already did. I feel like I'm missing something. Let's see. Placeholder, something to do. That's this one. Add to do button. Add the handler. On click. Then add the method in here. Enter the string new to do. Input placeholder something. That's this one. Bind it to new to do. That's where we were. Update the add to do method to add a new to do item. That's this one. If let's tap this not string is null white space new to do, so there must be something in there. To do's add new to do item, initialize its title equals to new to do. New to do equals to string empty. Did you notice this? By the way, if you enter the the IntelliCode, you now see to start items over here, and that means this is by machine learning. They encountered that most people will use empty or format after hitting the dot, and for that they put that up in the list. So making your code editor smarter. Rebuild and run the app. Did you know that, by the way? That the IntelliCode now is using machine learning. That's, by the way, an option, I think. Tools, options, IntelliCode. Preview features. Then you have to enable like refactorings. That's a nice one. Enabled, default. I'd like to get everything enabled on the preview build, except renaming my file back to lowercase. That's a feature I don't see much use of it. Let's run this. Save it first. Ctrl S. Ctrl F5. Attribute value missing. That's interesting. This is part of the default code. href class reload. What should be in there? The question, do you need this then? To do something. If it's empty, then it's not working. Item bug lower case file name. There you have it. Another item. Yes. And the last item. If you reload it, it's all gone again. Bye bye. Bug another item. Yeah. Okay, that works. Almost close to the end of the page. The title text for each to-do item can be made editable. The title text for each to-do item can be made editable. Checkbox can help keep the user track of completed items. Add a checkbox input. Yeah. To do. Somewhere over here, I think. For each is a list item, and instead of the title, we do input. Input type equals to checkbox. Bind it to do is done. Input bind, oh come on, bind equals to do title. No. Typing is hard to do. To do typing. Typing lessons to do. To verify that these values are bound, update the H1 header to show a count of the number of to-do items that aren't complete. Is to do is false. To do, put a code in there, add to-dos count. To do lambda fat arrow not to do dodo, to do is done. Terminate and done. The completed to do component. To do, that's done. We did that. That's check. Input placeholder, check. Let's just run it and see if it's working. Create and use ASP.NET Core pages. Item 1. Item 2. Item 3. Don't say 4 if it's item 3. Now we have to do 3 items. Check, check, and everything is done. 3, 2, 1. Nice. And back to 0. 1. 2. Should do something about the focus here. 3. Done. Okay. Rebuild and run the app to do items to test the new code. That's what I did. Improve coverage on special purpose Blazor files and components. Replace build your first tutorial. Edit work this issue with the feedback from add startup code block on build your first app page. The plan was to go with galactic flight finder concept, like flight finder, but for interstellar travel. Considerable progress was made in version of the app for this, but this 2.1 RTM took priority. Idea would be that this would be a flagship tutorial similar to Angular or React tutorials. Okay. For a more involved Blazor, intro to Blazor, we now have Blazor Workshop. This is by Dan Roth. So that's, I think, the author of this page, Dan Roth. Yeah, it is. Wow, what's this? Planet Surface. I've created a prototype of build your first Blazor. In order to keep it simple and focused, learning objects test what is evolved into a Doctor Who Planet database app. There's a service. Nice. BBC. Oh, that's nice. Let's store a link of this file. Oh, put this in my notes, so we can continue with this next time. Let's see, what is the comment on about the workshop? I like the concept of Planet as much as I love Doctor Who. I see Sheila. I can supply the descriptive information for the fields. Interesting. That's a good pointer for learning this. And what about the workshop that I just noticed? Here, Blazor Workshop. We're also having the Blazing Pizzas app in the Blazor Workshop. For a more advanced scenario, maybe that's sufficient. I wonder if it's also got authentication in there. Because this is all nice, but we need authentication and more stuff like that. Also, I would like to see what Fani did with our Blazor STN cast page. because we have the SDN cast. Oh, Fani changed this over to like SDN cast preview as your websites.net. Oh, it's a different name. SDN cast. Oh, it's down. Or maybe it was a new, different name. I'm not sure. I can maybe check it on GitHub. Oh, that's not going to work. GitHub. My typing is terrible today. Focusing. I'm focusing today. Do you notice? Did you notice, guys? I'm focusing. I'm focusing on Blazor. Anyway, I try to search something like SDN cast. I have it in my profile, I think. SDN cast. There we have a different branch. Revamp, maybe? I don't know. Source. Oh, we have two now. Work in progress. I don't think this is the razor part. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay. About. Host thumbnail. Wonder why the host thumbnail is done. Live coding, this is live coding page. Let's see if the admin one. Oh. Admin component base, class, admin screen, success message. It's a mess. Come on, Fani, work it. Work it, man. We found potential security vulnerabilities. See security alerts. And now everyone is going to exploit it. I need to do an update on this. Oh, this is the this is maybe what I was looking for. Copy, authorize. Let's make a note of that, because I need to learn more about that. Admin component base. Admin component base. Okay, yeah. Maybe if I'm a little bit more advanced in doing this, I can pick up some items from the list, because I put in some issues here. If you all have time, just go into SDN code, SDN cast issues, and fix all these items for us. Would like that. Bug. All posted by Fani and by me. Anyway, I was looking at the workshop then Roth was pointing to, the pizzas one. Build your first, let's see, this one. Copy, let's do that next week. That's it. Let's quickly have a short look at it, at the Blazor workshop. Add and then view all commits by then. 19 contributors, wow. Who are in there? Oh, Brady Gester is also in there. We had him on the show, on the SCNcast. That's, I think, the only one, except for Dan, that I know. Most of the items were built by Steve, I think, if you look at this. Yeah, so this is some interesting thing to do next week. I guess there's some things like what was I trying to say? The security items in there, like logging in maybe, and because the one that we currently built was a little bit simple, but it did show how the Blazor items working. Create and use ASP.NET Core Racer components. Click on that. Use components. Is this a continuing story? Oh, it is, because it's a full series of pages. So I'm almost done with the stream now, because 10 o'clock tomorrow at let's go back to the main screen. Tomorrow morning at the European time, like 6:45, I'm continuing my development for Office development, researching the custom XML nodes, but I try to dedicate a Wednesday to the Blazor development. So if you like the Blazor development, follow me on this channel for next Wednesday, I should say. And Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday I do Office development. And maybe I'm going to switch some more items. It's not only doing Office development from the morning items, but also bring in some more variation on the topics. And see what we can do on that level. Maybe also some gaming in the weekend. I also would like to do that because I like to force myself into gaming. I don't spend any gaming at all at this time. I have this great service from Microsoft, the Xbox Pass for PC as well, but I never use it because I just don't have the time for it. I'm only streaming and streaming. And we need to do more about this. Save this link for next week, and then I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. And if you're into my research for Office development, then join me tomorrow morning on the stream. And that's let's get world clock in there. World clock. Is this the right one? Can I pick a time in here? Some way? Time zone converter. Anyway, it's tomorrow morning Amsterdam time at Notepad, like 6:45. I'm actually starting at 6:30, but that's the intro screen. 6:45 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, and that is CET. That means that's 8 hours. And 9. It's I think the US switched as well for daylight winter time. World clock. Let's try to find PST or something. Seattle. Pacific. What is this? Google. World clock. Right. So Pacific is now PST. Where's PST? PST. It's not showing. Pacific. Well, New York is now like 4 p.m. and it's 10 in the Netherlands, so that's 6 hours. Does that mean this is AM? My streams. That's 6 hours before this 0:45 AM. Like 6. No, that's 0:30 Eastern Standard Time, and that will be 22. No, 22. I should say 10:45 p.m. Let's make this 0, 0. $10:30 p.m. Do the same over here. 0, 0. PST. Office development. That's like JavaScript, Office JS, React, UI Office, UI Fabric, stuff like that. And then started a new series, Blazor development, on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Basically in the 07:45 is the intro, Central Europe time. Then that means it's 4 o'clock right now in New York. It's 2 o'clock. Oh, I should say 2 p.m. 1:45. EST, and it's currently PST 1 p.m. 2 hours before that's 11 p.m. Now 11 a.m. like 10:45 starting the leader PST. Okay. Let's quickly copy this and put it in my notes, because I have to find it out every time over and over, especially with the winter time, summertime. Header 2, like this. Okay, finishing up. Was fun learning some new things about Blazor. Don't save this, I put it in the notes. The world clock can close, another clock. This one I will continue next week on the components, performance validation, and more and more and more. Blazor, what's this one? Yeah, web apps, Blazor. Yeah, next week I will continue with the components. Thanks for watching, everyone, and if you like the office streams, follow me in the morning, as I just showed you, at like 6:45 Europe, Central Europe time. And if you like the Blazor stuff again, follow me back on Wednesday. We do the... My bitrate is quite quirky, by the way. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll close out right now, and I will be back tomorrow morning, and see you next time. I say, kill the music and bye bye.